How's it going, guys? It is Glake from theavidentries.com. So, it has been a very long time since I've done a vlog update, and I kind of wanted to make this one the more yearly, annual one that I usually do that's basically introducing the new sagas for the new year. But first, I kind of want to do a small little recap, since it has been quite a while since I've last done a vlog, and since things are kind of moving into a specific direction over on both theavidentries.com and the Sanctuary, I kind of want to do a recap to kind of set the mood before I talk about the stuff that is happening now on both sites and what's to come. So, I started the Avid Entries, I want to say about 8 years ago, 2010, 2011. I think it was kind of in between, maybe like the end of 2010 if I remember correctly. So, about 7, 8 years ago. And since then we've had various sagas, various chapters, from the Ice Cave to the Prologue Plains to Castles 1, 2, and 3 to Frontiers, and now Lords and Landscapes. So Lords and Landscapes Saga, which I'm calling it an epic now, since it's kind of gone on a lot longer than a trilogy actually. So yeah, I'm calling it an epic, I guess, just because it's such a grand saga altogether. But I started all of this like 8 years ago, and I believe it was in 2016 when I introduced. I think it was when I introduced the regular Lords and Landscapes saga, which was the new saga for 2016 on the Avid Entry. Since the previous year, it was Lords and Landscapes, Dawn of the Twilight Age, and that was sort of the intro to Lords and Landscapes. And I believe I entitled that vlog, "The End is Near." And last year, it was kind of, the vlog that I did was kind of setting the tone for, in a way I want to say, sort of the end of a journey beginning, and that was with my dog. My dog wants to join me, and that was with Lords and Landscapes Fates. So Lords and Landscapes Fates, the first chapter the first part of that has concluded in 2017, and now here we are in 2018. I want to kind of touch on where we're going moving forward. First and foremost, this journey, known as the Avid Entries, I've decided is coming to an end. Obviously right now, I don't know how it's going to conclude, just because, these things are always also based on real life events as well as stuff that I brainstorm, stuff that I come up with, stuff relating to other people. But whether or not, something new will be birthed out of this, I don't know. But I can say with certainty that, in specifically the journey we know as Lords and Landscapes, certainly is coming to an end. And the new saga for this year, which is Lords and Landscapes Fates Extend Age of Shadows. I know it's a very long title. That is part 2 of the end of what the Avid Entries holds. And Lords and Landscapes Fates from last year, that was kind of the introduction to the end, and this is kind of part 2. And the reason why I call it part 2, I think that's a safe term, is because I don't really know when it's going to end. I know it's going to be soon, I have that feeling, but I don't really have a specific date in mind, so I think part 2 is the safest way. This is the safest term to play it safe. The best term to play it safe, I should say. So yes, I guess we could start things off with the Avid Entries in 2018. So if you guys are visiting the website the past week or so, the brand new saga has started. Lords and Landscapes Fates Extend the Age of Shadows. The first chapter is already up now, or the first arc, I guess is what I'm calling it, is already up now for this month, and I think it might go on for 2 months. I think 2 months was the time period I had for it, which is, so this first arc is entitled War of the Trial of War of the Trial of the Fates. War of the Trial of Fates. That's what it's entitled. War of the Trial of Fates. So yeah, I think that's gonna go until April. The first entry is already up now for that, and that is entitled The Flame. And that was published, I think it was published this Monday or this Tuesday. So that's already up there and available for reading. So that's kind of where things are right now with the avid entries. The Sanctuary, on the other hand, so last year, actually, October of 2016, yes, October of 2016 all the way to October of last year, we had this journey going on entitled The In-Between. And this was something a little bit different than what I've normally done in the past with sagas over on the Sanctuary since I started it, as well as most recent sagas that I've done on the avid entries, even before Lords and Landscapes kicked off. I want to say the In-Between kind of had the Ice Cave / castle sort of vibe, especially with the way I was writing it. You know, it was more, I want to say it was a lot more, the way I feel like I've written it was a lot more down to earth. I know, like, with the avid entries sort of text, I like to keep things more cryptic and stuff like that, but for the In-Between, I wanted to try and make it a lot more down to earth, and moving forward with this year's The Sanctuary Saga, I want to kind of continue that trend and kind of improve on it, because I feel like it could be a lot more down to earth. I'm not saying I'm going to move completely away from the more mysterious text, more cryptic text, the more stuff that just doesn't make any sense sometimes, but I think definitely I want a lot more entries to be a lot more down to earth. So, you know, if anybody ever checks out the site, they'll kind of, or gets curious and checks out the site, they'll kind of have an idea or have a clue at the very least of the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, or what a certain entry relates to, or, you know, something like that. But anyway, so we had the In-Between going on from a full year, from fall of 2016 to fall of 2017, and then last year, October of 2017, we kind of saw a closing of the In-Between, and I started a special 3-month trilogy arc, which I still have not given a name for, but that went on until the end of the year, and my mind is drawing a blank right now because I can't even remember the name of each arc. So we had the Confluence arc, which took place in October, I believe, and November. What was the arc for November? I honestly cannot remember the arc for November. I feel ashamed because I cannot remember. I remember December's was Dark Night of the Soul, but I don't remember November's. Either way, we had a trilogy arc going on for the Sanctuary for the last 3 months of 2017, and that kind of is leading into the new saga for the Sanctuary in 2018, which actually doesn't have a name. And I don't really know if I'm going to give it an official name. I don't think I am. Just because, like I said, things are kind of closing up on both sites, and things are going to be a lot more expansive, to the point where it's going to be very difficult of putting it under one arc or one title for a specific given amount of months. So right now, the current arc that's going on in the Sanctuary is entitled Little by Little We Rise Again, Bit by Bit We Meet Our Ends. And, you know, before I did the first entry for that, I believe I made a little comment on my Facebook page basically stating that as of now, these entries and these arcs that are taking place on the Sanctuary are kind of they're still a part of the In-Between journey, the In-Between universe. Like, I don't want to say the In-Between journey is over, but the concept of the In-Between is so massive and it's so vast that focusing on it itself it's kind of limiting. So and I don't really want to talk about exactly what it is. That's up for you to determine, but that's kind of why I want to focus on other things. I guess, other happenings, other things going on within the entire concept of the in-between, which will, I feel like, in all honesty, that would give you a better idea of what exactly it is. And yeah, that's kind of where things are going, and that's really why I didn't end up calling this year's saga for the Sanctuary, the In-Between Part 2, and instead that's kind of why I decided to go with a nameless route. For now, at the very least. Things could always change, but that's kind of why I'm doing things differently as of now. That's kind of why I wanted to make this vlog, was just like, kind of just talk about the things that I'm doing differently. So, moving into 2018, as we continue to sort of wrap up these sagas and sort of wrap up these journeys as a whole, I think it's definitely important to note that I kind of want to focus on other areas as well. The evidentries has always been something that I wanted to be able to provide more thought-provoking conversations and ideas and topics and stuff like that in particular. And I'm no stranger to liking to put like more metaphysical stuff into my works, into my writing, and I feel like that's definitely a focus that I want to endeavor in on the YouTube as well. And I know in the past I said I wanted to make, more videos focusing on like more metaphysical, mysterious stuff, and that's still something I want to do moving forward. It's just, I feel like for that kind of stuff that, that isn't really wide received, it's sort of shunned in a way. It's just, it gives you this sort of insecurity that you never know enough. That's a dangerous insecurity, I feel like, to have, because, you could always learn something new. But for me in particular, it's just like, oh, I don't know if I want to touch on this because I feel like I don't know enough. But I think I'm at that point where I really don't mind not knowing enough and doing content on something pertaining to that, because it's a journey as a whole, and it would be awesome if you guys went on that journey with me. So moving forward, I definitely want to take this channel more in that direction. Definitely not saying that I'm going to move away from doing nature music videos and all that other kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of stuff that I actually really want to do for the channel and kind of evolve upon. That kind of evolves upon what I've done in the past, and that's also going to be something that I'm going to be focusing on in 2018. But to kind of wrap this whole thing up, because I really don't want this to be all that long, I kind of just wanted to set the tone and just basically say that, this is the final days of what we currently know as the evidentries. This is the final days. These are the final days. We're in the final days. I'm not saying it's going to end next week, but I'm just saying, these new sagas as a whole, these are kind of the final pages of the book, I guess you could say. We're coming to the end, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that all with you guys today. And hopefully moving forward, if you haven't checked out any of this stuff, hopefully you do, or at least give it a look. And yeah, I hope maybe you guys could partake on the rest of this journey with me. And I guess until the next video, which hopefully won't be very long from now. Like I said, I want to do more videos as much as I possibly can, vlog updates, all that kind of stuff. Until next time, you guys keep on journeying, and I will see you guys very soon.